Hello everyone here, everyone there, everyone in between, everyone around the world. And hello everyone, the translators and hardworking Sakya Friends team. And they have organized this yet again for us, so we thank and rejoice their tireless work. I'm trying to keep up my commitment to do at least once a month teaching, in spite of very busy schedule I have here. We are building a temple after 35 years, so therefore it's a very important time. But they say you don't make many promises, but few you do, you keep up. So that's why I'm doing my monthly teaching here. I'm glad you are all able to make your time for the Dharma and for the benefit of all sentient beings. We know our precious opportunity to become connected through Dharma is best form of friendship, and this is not just few months or few years, or not even few lives, until we all help to make every sentient being to be free from the chain of suffering and their causes. So we have incredible teachers like His Holiness Dalai Lama and His Holiness Sakya Trizin, who continue to inspire us. And so we have very good leadership and good examples. And they're in their ripe age, give so many teachings, see so many people. Therefore we too should do our best. So we are all in a very good way to follow the noble examples. Before we begin the teachings, I'd like to invite everyone to sit still and have a very sincere altruistic motivation. Use this as a meditation to deepen your understanding of the teachings of emptiness and importance of having altruism and loving kindness to those who have no way of understanding emptiness. They're grasping at self and the name and culture and language and ethnicity, and over that they fight between individuals, between neighbors, between countries. So whole world is suffering because of this clinging to the me, confusing self with the nose and ears, hairs and colors. Incredible confusion. So tonight's teaching is the Heart Sutra. Some people call it Heart Sutra. You have to have very sharp teeth to bite this discourse. And that's why we are having 4 teaching sessions, which is very presumptuous of me, actually, to promise to teach in 4 sessions. It will take days and weeks to go through the very thoroughly. So I'm afraid we won't be able to go in depth because of the limitation of time. But nevertheless, you all have put aside your time, so we will do our best. So in the meantime, join your hands at the heart and include everyone in your heart in prayers. As you all know, the refuge prayers, that is renewing your refuge in the Buddha, the faith in the Dharma, and friendship with the Sangha, and commitment to practice loving kindness, right view, and bodhicitta for all sentient beings. So put those thoughts, and also think of people who have recently died and are dying. So I always hear a number of people dying every day and dead. So I too will think of them when we do these prayers. Oyenda Buddha Dhamma Sangha te refuge light by virtue of Yevandala I shall Buddha Utubi and Abu Dadarama Zanga I te refuge enlightenment by virtue of Yevandala I shall reach Buddha Utubi and Abu Dadarama Zanga I te refuge enlightenment by virtue of Yevandala I shall reach Buddha Utubi. So with that recitation of the one verse, which consists of a refuge and generation bodhicitta. This is a famous combination of refuge and bodhicitta prayer written by Atisha. In Tibetan we call Sangye, Chodang, and so on. But we chant this in English as all of you have translated that in the language you are translating, because sometimes prayer sounds good in Sanskrit or Tibetan, but most people listening to it don't know anything what they are. So it would be better to chant in the language that you understand. And then, since the topic of the teaching tonight is perfection of wisdom, the Heart Sutra, usually in Buddhist teachings, the Heart Sutra is always recited, whatever the teaching is on. So I will do the short one verse praise to Prajnaparamita in Tibetan, and which goes something like this: Masam Jeme Hera Parolchin, which means Masam means unthinkable, Jeme means inexpressible, Sherab means wisdom, Parolchin means transcendental. The transcendental wisdom is unthinkable and inexpressible. Maike Minga Manamke Ngowonyi means unborn, unceasing nature of the sky. Yeah. So it's all talking about mind, you know. Soso Rangri Ishicho Yulwa means Soso Rangri means this realization of discriminating awareness, of knowing the nature of each and every thing as they are, which is the domain of the transcendental wisdom. Tuzum Geve Yumla Chaksalos means I pay homage to the mother of all the three victors of the three past, present, and future. So with that, then I recite the Heart Sutra mantra a few 21 times. Tadyadham gate gate para sang gate bodhi swaha. 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 Tadyata om gate gate para sang gate bodhi swaha. Tadyata om gate gate para sang gate bodhi swaha. Tadyata om gate gate para sang gate bodhi swaha. So that will do. This is the recitation of the essence of the Heart Sutra. Is synthesized in these mantras. Gate means gone. Gate has second. Gate means gone, gone. Gone really means that one is the person who has like first gone is path of accumulation. Second gone is path of preparation. Paragate is the thoroughly gone. That refers to the path of seeing. Parasangade refers to the path of meditation, thoroughly gone, because both para and sang, both are intensifiers. Bodhi means enlightenment, so that is the path of normal learning. So ha and so be it. So basically, the whole Heart Sutra's teachings is synthesized in this dharani or mantra. It's a very precious mantra to recite. So anyway, so let's go into the introducing what Heart Sutra is, echo in the Buddhist literature. Yeah. In Buddhist literature, we have Vinaya, Sutra, and Abhidharma, which is called three collection of Buddha's teachings. And in the sutra, which is discourses, there are Mahayana sutras and sutras of the Theravadins. There are no such specific sutra named Heart Sutra in the Theravadins. So the Heart Sutra is a uniquely Mahayana sutra, although topic of the teachings of the Heart Sutra is also found in the numerous Theravadin sutras as well. So nevertheless, this Heart Sutra is the smallest, one of the smallest body of Buddhist texts, which synthesize the meaning of ultimate truth, which is the right view through which one gains enlightenment. And the Heart Sutra is a short text, but overall name of this text is called Prajnaparamita. Prajnaparamita means the transcendental wisdom. Paramita means perfection of wisdom. Prajna means wisdom. So perfection of wisdom. That's translated, Prajnaparamita. But Prajnaparamita is a text. And not only it is a text, but it is many texts. There are almost 17 different texts called mother and son, Prajnaparamita texts. Yeah. But if instead of listing all the 17 texts, there are long perfection wisdom constituting 12 volumes. So that has a length of 100,000 verses. We call Bum in Tibetan, or Yum, which means mother. And then there is a medium perfection wisdom called Nite, which is 25,000 verses. That is 4 volumes. So the 25 verse, 4 volume is a synthesized meaning of the 12 volume, which is 100,000. Then the short version is called 8,000 verses, Astasahasrika in Sanskrit. So these are the 3 what you call long, medium, and short versions of perfection of wisdom. But then there are many smaller perfection of wisdom texts, such as 350 verse long Diamond Cutter Sutra, Vajrachetika Sutra, which is very famous in East Asia. In Japan and China and Korea, the Diamond Cutter Sutra is highly regarded. And as it is in Tibet, Dorje Chopa is very famous. But none of these texts which we mentioned, the 100,000, 25,000, 8,000 verses, because their length, nobody could read it every day. So therefore, most people make a habit of reading either Diamond Cutter Sutra or at the minimum, the Heart Sutra. So that's why today we're going to go over the shortest text, Heart Sutra. By the way, Heart Sutra is not the shortest. The shorter than the Heart Sutra is shortest text is called A. The shortest Prajnaparamita is the single letter A meditation. So when Buddhist texts are so revered, they're written in gold and very precious stone, metal inks. They are written with great devotion, especially handmade papers. So the Heart Sutra is short enough to be recited each day, and that's why in Tibetan Buddhist teaching formally, always at the very beginning, Heart Sutra is chanted. But only if everybody knew the meaning of the chant, that would be good. But I'm afraid even in Japan, where Heart Sutra is their bread and butter, while they chant and beat the gongs and talk, very few people have understood the meanings very well. So His Holiness Dalai Lama has taught the Heart Sutra a number of times, and I have been fortunate to listen to those many, many times. And I also managed to host a visit of one of my late colleague and friend, Khyentse Mi'kmaq Tsering. He came to Australia in 1993, and he gave the teaching on the Heart Sutra over 8 full days. So that shows how much it could be taught. So we probably are the only group that has hosted such an extensive teaching by any learned Lama who is eloquently able to teach in English. This Khyentse Mi'kmaq Tsering taught the Heart Sutra. We transcribed it, and it was published 3 years ago by Sakya College. So those of you who wish to acquire the detailed teachings of Heart Sutra, I'm sure there are many other texts and translations, commentaries, but that is a very valuable one. But tonight I'm going to give the teaching based directly on a Tibetan commentary by Ngudrup Palmbar. Ngudrup Palmbar is a 14th century Sakya scholar. So I'm now going to go over the actual explaining the very Heart Sutra. Heart Sutra has a title. The title is always found in Sanskrit. Bhagavati Prajnaparamita Hridaya. That is the Sanskrit title. We preserve the Sanskrit title for a number of reasons. Firstly, to prove the authenticity and historic, the traceability of the origin, that these teachings came from India, the blessed language of the Sanskrit. Secondly, for people to rejoice the hard work of translators who bridge the gulf between two languages, who master the Sanskrit and then translate it into Tibetan. So every single title enables us to rejoice the great dedication made by Lotsawas of Tibet and Panditas of India. All of them collaboratively work together and translated from Sanskrit into Tibetan. Likewise, in other countries, they translate from Pali into Sinhalese or Thai or whatever it is. And in Mandarin, they were also translated from Sanskrit. So usually all North Asian Buddhist literature always try to preserve the Sanskrit title. Whether they have got the correct pronunciation or even phonetics is everybody's guess. Some people call Polomito or something, but it's actually they're trying to say Paramita. Tibetans, Bhagavati Prajnaparamita Hridaya. So if we translate that meaning, Bhagavati means the Blessed Mother. Because Bhagavan is the Blessed One, masculine, and Bhagavati is a feminine particle. Why Ma? The feminine is that anyone who realizes this perfection wisdom, they will give birth to enlightenment. So this birth is not a biological birth, we are talking about birth of enlightenment. So Bhagavati is a female blessed one. What is the blessed one? In Tibetan, Chom Den Dema. Chom is one who has conquered or destroyed the 4 maras. Den is a possession, one who possesses the 6 excellent noble qualities. And there is one who has transcended samsara and nirvana, and Ma is the feminine. So basically, translated in English, Blessed Mother, Blessed Mother, okay? Bhagavati. Then Prajna, the word Prajna is made out of what we call wisdom. Wisdom. So we're not talking about ordinary wisdom. Wisdom. The word Gya is wisdom. Pra is an intensifier. So Prajna means a special wisdom. Then we have Paramita. Paramita comes from the Paramita, which means para means on the other side of samsara and nirvana. From the other side it means nirvana. Ita means to gone. So perfection of wisdom, translated usually as perfection, meaning actually means that which has gone beyond. So paramita means gone beyond, literally means gone beyond. Wisdom that is gone beyond wisdom. And then Hridaya means essence. Hridaya is the word that is translated into heart. The word Heart Sutra and Hridaya is the heart, because it is the essence. So when we say Bhagavati, one who has conquered the four maras and possessed the six qualities, and which refers to one who has abandoned all adverse obscurations, and one has attained and realized all the qualities, is what really means Bhagavati. And so that then the transcendental, the word there refers to that it goes beyond the capacity of ordinary sentient beings, as well as the Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas. So therefore they are beyond the notion of ordinary and Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddha. And so therefore it is beyond. And then the Ma, the Bhagavati, the feminine particle Ma, means the mother of the three Buddhas of the past, present, and future. Everyone has to realize emptiness to realize enlightenment. So one who realizes emptiness, which is the ultimate bodhicitta, then they can gain enlightenment. So therefore, the perfection wisdom is like a great highway. By treading one's feet on this, you will reach the fruit of attaining enlightenment. So also the word sherab or prajna refers to word share, means that we all sentient beings have one awareness. That's the luminous nature of the mind. When they become metacognitively aware of their own awareness of their own clear and knowing, that is the pra, share. The rab refers to the excellent, because that excellent knowledge of your own intrinsic nature of mind comes from the excellent knowledge from hearing and excellent contemplation from meditating on that. So therefore, this is wisdom necessarily derived from listening, contemplating, and meditating. So that is the title of the Heart Sutra. The title is like the label in the medicine bag. We have a saying in Tibetan that just like physicians would have put their medicine in a bottle or bag and have put a name, likewise all the text has to bear the title. The title are usually named either the contents or sometimes titles are given like 400 verses. They call Chatushataka, means 400 verses. They don't say what is the Chatushataka is all about. Like when they say 8,000 verses, so what, 8,000 verses? But it doesn't say what on. So some titles are only given like 8,000 verses. But here it doesn't say how long the Heart Sutra is. But Heart Sutra is also 25 verses long. If you're talking about, why didn't we call it 25? Maybe, so there are different reasons why Sutra is named after. Sutra could be named after the contents. Sutra could be named after the length. Sutra could be named after one who requested. And Sutra could be named after the event like meeting between father and son. So the numerous, there are at least 7 different reasons why our sutra is named after. So here the Heart Sutra is named after the very content of the meanings. So that's the title. Second is the homage. Homage is the homage is paid by the like paying homage to the Bhagavati Prajnaparamita Hridaya Namo. Namo means I pay homage to the Blessed One, perfection of wisdom, the Mother, Blessed Mother. So this is not to be found in the original Sanskrit. These were added by the Tibetan translators and Indian Panditas in not to prove their linguistic prowess or academic sort of importance, but rather humility, that they are seeking blessings of the goddess Prajnaparamita, so that they're doing this undertaking translation will have blessings to benefit future generations. And also so that their task of translation becomes successful and doesn't get left incomplete or unfinished or improper. So that they are asking blessings so that their task of translation and the purpose of this become fruitful for the benefit of sentient beings. Like this was translated in the 7th century, but we are now reading in the 21st century. Look at their prayers working. In that this kind of texts were translated into China much earlier, in the 2nd century. Kumarajiva and Xuanzang, of course, in the 7th century. But the translation of the when I look at the Heart Sutra of the Chinese and Japanese version, I call them incomplete Heart Sutra, because they don't have the beginning, the prologue, and prologue at the beginning of the text, and also postscript at the back. They cut out those. They go straight into the teaching. Tibetan Buddhist texts always preserve, thus I've heard, and the whole prologue, which is background, how the setting the scene, how the sutra was taught, who was there, who requested, and so on. Anyway, so here the homage is made by the translators, so that the Lotsawas have obstacles, not only in linguistically, maybe they are not always equipped with all the vocabulary, and also they may have sometimes they run out of resources and energies, and so they can't do because nobody support their translator. These days also same, most people think the translator will find his time to translate. Nobody think the translator have to need a roof over their head and have family to feed and do the works. I'm sure I'm talking, quite a lot of our translators are really, if they were not supported their family and wife and children and husband and so on, they couldn't give so much time to translate. So we should always pray so that we have our small needs fulfilled without us having to sort of take one or leave another. So quite a lot of you are juggling your everyday life and volunteering to translate. We should always pray to the Triple Gem and to the goddess Prajnaparamita, so that we be blessed to not become too kind of worried about our worldly needs and then neglect our translation work. If we start something, we should always finish. Even if we do very well, we should always seek the advice of senior and fellow other translators and get their blessings. So that's something we should learn from this example. So that's the title and the salutation. Now comes the third, the main topic. You have been patient so far already. And so that's the title and the salutation. Now the main Heart Sutra is, first we have to understand the detailed word and meanings and implied reasons of the teachings. Firstly, we have to know the concept of 5 perfect factors. The 5 perfect factors, The 5 perfect factors are usually what is contained in the Nidana, or what we call the prologue of the sutra. That's the setting the scene of the sutra. And of these five perfect factors, the first 4 are common for perfect factors, and the 5th one is the extraordinary perfect factor. So 4 common perfect factors are time, teacher, place, and audience. So when it says, thus I have heard at one time, thus I have heard at one time refers to, first of all, thus I have heard. Thus I have heard really means that this is not something that there's not some kind of second-hand knowledge. This is, you happen to hear this yourself once. And so means, thus means I can quote word for word what I have heard from the direct teachings or conversation between Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, or in some case Buddha himself. That I was witnessing and I heard them speak, and this is not somebody else say, that he said, she said. No, I heard it myself. So that shows the rarity of the opportunity to hear this from the mouth of Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara and Buddha himself. So, and then when thus I have heard, means it's not someone else, Joe or Jill or Peter or Damien heard and then you heard from them. It's not like that. I heard it, So I, the first person, did the hearing. Means that oneself is the first witness that I have heard. And how many times you heard? At one time only, not repeatedly 3-4 times. Only one time, which shows us the rarity of the propagation of these teachings, not only by the rare Buddha, but rarest of an occasion. Yeah, imagine that you may have attended some teaching with His Holiness Dalai Lama. Well, will you be able to hear again from him? Very less likely. Wouldn't you cherish and honor that day when you first heard that teaching given by His Holiness or someone? You will, won't you? Like that. Here, the compilers of the Heart Sutra is talking about the great joy, great rarity that they had, how much it changed their life. They not only heard, but it hurt their ego and pride and destroyed them altogether. That's the implication here. This is the greatest knowledge there is to hear. Knowledge is power, they call it. What kind of knowledge? If you wanted to become a mechanic, how to make cars, that's a knowledge to make cars. But this is a knowledge how to destroy the root cause of suffering, the ego. So that's why thus I have heard once. Means that but this thing that you heard is profoundly difficult and deep teaching to realize. It is very profound meaning. Had it not been the speaker of the teaching itself, weren't the Avalokiteshvara, Shariputra and Buddha, it would have not been possible to you to understand and fathom. So it implies the rarity of the realization, not only rarity to hearing it, but even rarer than hearing it is to realize it. Because the realization depends on from whom you hear it. You see? So to be able to hear directly from the Buddha's blessing through Avalokiteshvara Shariputra is extremely difficult, profound realization. So it shows the rarity of difficulties of fathoming and comprehending the meaning. When it says, at one time. So that is mainly talking about the first of the 4 common perfect factor, the time, the one and only time that was so rare. Yeah. Second perfect factor is the teacher. Yeah. So therefore, when it says, "Thus I have heard," means those people who compile the teachings. Means I am the one who heard the teachings, not from somebody else. So therefore, there's no danger of fabrication or anything else. And so because of that one and very rare occasion that you heard this, this is also talking about the rarity of the compiler. Compilers who compile the teachings have extraordinary qualities. Like in Theravada, we have Upali, the Mahakashyapa, and Ananda. They are the compilers of the teaching. The very fact that we name their holy names bring goosepimples. What must be like to have the honor of compiling all the Buddha's teachings? Likewise, here the compilers of the teachings is very rare. So the second one is the perfect teacher. Perfect teacher is the blessed one. So at that time, thus I've heard at one time. When was that time that you heard this only once? Where the blessed one, So they're talking about the blessed one is the teacher, perfect teacher. Third is the in Vulture's Peak, in Vulture's Peak, near the King Rajgriha. So they're talking about the perfect place. Third perfect factor is perfect place. This Rajgriha is the kingdom, is the palace of the king Bimbisara and Ajatasattu. And but Vulture's Peak is a hermitage above on the hill of the Rajgriha. It's two different places. Rajgriha is the city and one of the 6 big cities of India, whereas Vulture's Peak is a hermitage above the hill. Vulture's the king's palace, Rajgriha means royal palace. Royal palace is big royal palace and residence. And whereas the Vulture's Peak is named after Giridhakutti in Sanskrit, it looks like on the slopes of the mountain there are many vultures, all sort of looking for something to eat. So there's a lot of rocks, that look like vultures, It looks like a peak of vultures, meaning you can call it a flock of vultures all sitting there looking for something to eat. So it's mainly named after the landscape. So this means why the Vulture's Peak and Rajgriha too are mentioned is that there is one is a lay people's residence, the Rajgriha. Another is where the hermits dwell in the caves and the wilderness. So therefore, these two places are mentioned: the perfect place for the vulture, perfect place for the hermits, perfect place for the king and the ministers. And the fourth one is perfect audience. Perfect audience. When you read in the Heart Sutra, when you read in the Heart Sutra, it talks about, "Thus I've heard at such and such time," and then it talks about who were present. So who were present? In the Tibetan text, is called as Gelonke Gendun. It is the Sangha consistent of the fully ordained ones. So you can't just say monastics. Monastics, very Western terminology. You have to use the word fully ordained bhikkhus. Great assembly means at least 5,000. Numerically, at least 5,000. Qualitatively, at least those who have realized arhathood. So if you're referring to the great assembly numerically, there are 5,000 or more. And in terms of qualities of individuals, there are those who have already reached arhathood or higher. So that's the great assembly of sanghas. Great assembly sanghas and great assembly bodhisattvas. So great assembly of sangha refers to arhat sanghas, Theravada sanghas, maybe 5,000. And the great assembly of bodhisattva refers to the
greatness is the 5,000 or more bodhisattvas, and another greatness is these are bodhisattvas dwelling on the 8th bhumi, 9th bhumi, and 10th bhumi. So these are high bodhisattvas. And they were all not segregated. They're all together. Both the Theravada Sangha, Mahayana Sangha, both are present. So there was nobody segregated from each other, but all of them were present. So I don't know whether Theravada Sangha would accept this line of story or not, but at least Mahayana includes them as being part of the audience of the Buddha. How could any arhat not being present when the Buddha is giving teaching such as the importance of Heart Sutra? So this refers to the 4th perfect factors. So we have the perfect factor of the time, and the teacher, and the place, and audience. So what makes all of this very, very, very perfect is, very perfect is that perfect dharma. Perfect dharma is the uncommon perfect factor is the perfect dharma. The perfect dharma are 3 kinds. This is called blessed words, blessed dharma, we can call it spoken dharma, and endorsed dharma. In Tibetan, Chingila Peka means blessed by the Buddha. And Shalnesung Peka means spoken by the teaching spoken by the Buddha. Jesunaveka means the teaching that are endorsed and given permission by the Buddha. So you will see the Heart Sutra is largely consisting of these 3. So the most perfect factor of the Dharma consists of the 3 types of how the teachings are delivered. One through the blessing, another spoken words, what we call Buddha Vachana, that's spoken from the word of Buddha himself. Another is through endorsement. So first one is we will therefore look at how in the setting of the scene, how the teaching was given, how the teaching happened, what made the teaching to happen. Yeah, that's right. What made the teaching to occur? What prompted the teaching to be given? And this is very important because when we talk about Buddhism, when we talk about in Buddhism, whether the teaching is given by Buddha or not, So therefore here now we will at that time when all of those 4 factors on top of that, at that time the blessed one means the fully historical Shakyamuni Buddha was absorbed in samadhi. So this refers to the Buddha's meditative concentration is blessing others. And who are the others who he blessed, and how each of them were blessed? And these are the 3 topics we will look at. At that time, when we say at that time, the blessed was absorbed in samadhi on the enumeration of the phenomena called profound illumination. So that is the actual samadhi, meditative concentration in which the Buddha was dwelling. So that's the actual samadhi part of the meditation of the Buddha that we're doing. And then at the time when he was with the company of all the sanghas, mahasanghas, and Buddha was meditating on the very profound and difficult topic of the emptiness. Whereas all people, when they see things, they will grasp unhesitatingly as what appears to be truly and independently existing thing, and they'll grasp them as it appears. But Buddha instead was staying in the deep meditation, seeing the non-duality of appearance and emptiness. Whereas ordinary people will not see any emptiness. They see the appearance as a truly independently existing. And he was able to survey the nature of all phenomena. He he was one-pointedly able to meditate on the numerous nature of each and every phenomena on a relative level and ultimate level. So he was able to see this very clearly and consciously. So that means the rest of the what will be covered in the Heart Sutra teachings are all in the meditative realization of the Buddha mind. And so the ordinary people, they do not know the nature of things. They will think the appearance is the thing, name is the person, color is the object, and impermanent as a permanent, unsatisfactory things as a satisfactory, impure as a pure. They all have mistaken appearance. So they would like to go and drink mirage as water. They think dream as real, and so on. Where the Buddha could see the mirage as mirage and not drinkable, impermanent things as impermanent, not to grasp. So Buddha was dwelling in that deep meditative state. So when we also meditate on Heart Sutra, we shouldn't just read the Heart Sutra for word, but we also should survey the plight of the nature of all phenomena is empty, but yet ordinary deluded beings grasp them as true, real, permanent, and always grasping to fixated ideas. So that is the meditation with which the Buddhas, meditating on the profound meaning of emptiness, blessed everyone. How did he bless everyone? He blessed Avalokiteshvara and Shariputra and all other audience differently. Avalokiteshvara as the what do you call, one who will be giving the answers. Shariputra is blessed to ask the questions, and all the rest of the audience not to interrupt, to sit quietly and listen. So he blessed everyone equally, but at different roles. So this is very important. So Buddha simultaneously blessed everyone through his meditation. Because remember, Buddha entered into the profound meditation, which is surveying the nature of all phenomena. And when he was meditating on that, he blessed everyone to be almost in the same. He was orchestrating Shariputra to ask the question. He was orchestrating Avalokiteshvara to give the answer, and so on. So at that time, at that very magical moment, at that time means at that very magical moment, what is that moment? Is when Buddha was deeply in the meditative equanimity of the nature of reality as it is. When Buddha was meditating in that, at the same time, as Buddha was meditating, not afterwards, not before, at the same time, simultaneously, at that time, the great Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, the great Bodhisattva, Mahasattva means he is not ordinary. He is a transcendent ordinary people like you and me, as well as Sarvakas and Arhat. He is completely surpassed all of them, and therefore he is Arya Avalokiteshvara. Avalokiteshvara is the Sanskrit word. Avalokiteshvara means literally means one who is always looking at the plight of sentient beings. In Tibetan genre, Zig, Zig means one who's looking on the plight of sentient beings at 3 times during the day, 3 times during the night. So watchful over the plight of all sentient beings. Papa genre Zig, And what kind of genre is it? Wangchu, Loke Ishwara. Ishwara means that who is the Lord, who is a possessor of all the qualities and power, And what he was doing? He was meditating on the nature of the perfection wisdom of emptiness, on the profound meaning of nature of the 5 aggregates. He was meditating, At that time, Bodhisattva, the great being Arya Avalokiteshvara, was contemplating on the meaning of the profound perfection wisdom, And when he was meditating, he saw. He saw doesn't mean visually. He realized. He realized the five aggregates are also empty. Not only self is empty, the five aggregate, the self thinks is of itself, is also empty of inherent existence. So he surveyed the nature of the emptiness of all things. And so that is Avalokiteshvara was blessed with this knowledge. He was just spouting with like a spring of water. He couldn't stop himself having this incredible realization of the emptiness of all phenomena and how self is lacking and that are independent, that are independent of the aggregates. He said they are all jumbled together, merely labeled, merely conceived, merely sort of propped together and labeled after the name or color or creed. Otherwise, each and every aggregates, neither in the form nor in the feeling, all the way to consciousness, there isn't anything identical that is labeled to be. He could see clearly the lack of inherent existence of the five aggregates. At the same time, at the same time, then through the power of the Buddha, means due to the very power of the Buddha, Avalokiteshvara was surveying the nature of the five aggregates. At the very same time, Shariputra, who is otherwise depicted as the most intelligent disciple of Buddha, acting like one who has a lot of questions, And then he got up. Shariputra got up. Everybody's sitting in meditation. Why you want to get up? You're breaking the kind of taboo, No, Shariputra was unhesitatingly got up. When we say Shariputra, let me say a little bit about Shariputra. His name is Upatisha, not Shariputra. But when he met the Buddha, then he abandoned his actual Vedic name, Upatisha. Then he adopted the name Shariputra. Shari means his mother's name is Lady Shari. And Shari means Lady Shari, because Shari means the Lady Shari had the most piercing eye like that of an eagle. Bird Shari, particularly bird called Shari. Bird Shari is so one kind of eagle that fly in a great many height, but from there it could spot smallest little prey on the ground and can easily swoop and pick. Likewise, Lady Shari had this incredible piercing eye, and so she was named after the bird Shari. Putra means son. So Upatisha is a son of the Lady Shari. So that's how he got the name Shari. Shariputra is one of the most intelligent disciples of Buddha, but here, if Theravada didn't mind it, Mahayana has made him to be the one who had the question, who got up from the seat. Everybody was sitting, I mean, you can't get up. You shouldn't be get up, Well, Shariputra had blessed by the Buddha. He was blessed by the Buddha. Something just made him to get up and do 3 prostration. To whom? He prostrated to the Avalokiteshvara. And he asked the question to Avalokiteshvara. Remember, Shakyamuni Buddha was sitting there meditating. Everybody else is meditating. Just imagine you can interrupt everybody's meditation and ask question to somebody else. When they say Avalokiteshvara, was Avalokiteshvara a 4-armed, tall, white person? Or he was a dark-skinned Bengali? Who knows? Anyway, so let's not get into the physical features of Shariputra or Avalokiteshvara. Anyway, Shariputra was blessed to get up and ask questions. How did he get up? He got up very reverent, very respectfully, like the monastics do, how they fold their robes and then kneel on the right knee and bow down 3 times and then kneel down and ask the question. So Shariputra did the same thing. He arranged his robe on his left shoulder and then he kneeled down on his right knee and then asked question. Ask the question. Ask the question. To whom? To Avalokiteshvara. How should a son or a daughter of a noble lineage. So this is very important. We need to know the meaning of the words, When it says how, means that it is asking what it is, how it should be done. How should they train if they wish to, If they wish to train, how they should train how the people who like a noble son or daughter. The son or daughter here doesn't mean biological. Means those who are fit to understand the legacy of the teachings of the Bodhisattva and who will be able to carry the banner into the future generation. So when we're talking about the son or the daughter of the Kula Putra, Kula Duhita, when you're talking about the Kula refers to the family. The family doesn't mean the blood family, hereditary. Family refers to those who have spiritual gene to carry the legacy into the next. How should such a noble son or daughter who is fit to understand this, how should they train? So that's basically Shariputra got up and asked question to Avalokiteshvara unhesitatingly. And then, so the one is asking question and other is now answering. What was happening with Buddha? Buddha was still in deep meditation. Remember, he was giving the teaching. He was orchestrating through his blessings. Avalokiteshvara to get the answers, and Shariputra to ask the questions. Everybody to listen. So Buddha was basically conducting like an orchestra has a conductor. He does this, he does that. The trumpeter does this. These people play the trumpet. These people the cymbal. These people beat the drum, and like that, Buddha was orchestrating through his silent meditation, profound illumination, blessing Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara to engage in the dialogue. One as the questioner and other as a respondent. Then, of course, when we talk about the noble son or daughter, the noble son or daughter is not so much a hereditary lineage, like a big caste system in India. This noble son refers to those who are able to carry the legacy of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And also it is very much shows the Mahayana Buddhist literature is very non-sexist. It includes both the male and female equally. So it doesn't say how the monastic should train in the perfection wisdom. It doesn't say how the Brahmin should train in the perfection wisdom. It says whatever noble son or daughter wishes to train. This shows the Mahayana is path of inclusive. It encourages and respects the female participant and the candidates just as suitable candidates as well as male. It does not make any discrimination between races. So the word race here, Rikki put, is nothing to do with the caste. It's the caste of the Buddhas, one who can carry the lamp, torch of the Buddha Dharma teaching to pass from this to next generation, and that's referred to the Rikki Pumo. The Kula Duhita, Kula Putra, Kula Duhita, that's referred to the noble son or daughter who wish to train in the profound perfection wisdom. How should they train? And so then this was asked. Thus he spoke means, thus he spoke. So thus he answered, I asked the question like that. Then the great Shariputra, great Shariputra don't ask ordinary questions. He doesn't ask questions, say how nearest pub or something. He doesn't ask questions, how do you get the beach in about any hours? Not that kind of silly question. You can ask the smartphone these days. Shariputra asked questions, how should we train to realize this profound wisdom or perfection wisdom? So that means everyone is suitable candidate to realize the emptiness only if they knew how. Only if they knew how. So this is the what we call the prologue. The prologue is what prompted this profound teaching of perfection, wisdom, emptiness to be taught. So it talks about the place and time and audience, yeah, and this place, time, and audience, and location, and the teaching, and what prompted. So this is very important. Historically, it is telling you. These days, when people go to Vulture's Peak, they don't say this is Vulture's Peak. They say this is where the Heart Sutra was taught, because it is named as the Vulture's Peak near Rajgriha. Yeah. So if those of you who have not been to India, you should go there first. We know one very senior Khenpo Rinchen. He told me when I asked him before going on Buddhist pilgrimage, what should we do? He says, oh, you can go to many places, but one place you mustn't miss is Vulture's Peak. He said, oh, of course you can go to Varanasi because Buddha gave the first sermon, but most important place is Vulture's Peak. There Buddha taught the most profound discourse, the perfection of wisdom. You should go there. He said, there's not a single mote of dust in the whole Vulture's Peak that is not touched by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Because so many thousands of arhats and bodhisattvas all came to listen to that place, and everybody touched the ground, so whole soil is blessed. So he told us that you should go to Vulture's Peak. You remember that if you go to Vulture's Peak, that's where the greatest Japanese Nichiren school's teacher called Guru Fuji, he built this big World Peace Pagoda. He built about 56 of these around the world. And one and only place in India that he didn't want to miss to choose a location to build was Vulture's Peak. So that's why these days you can take the cable car from the ground floor, foothill, go all the way on the top, one of the 5 peak mountains, and then that is why world famous Vulture. Why? That world famous Vulture's Peak is where Buddha taught and blessed everyone, and to engage and hear these profound teachings that could shake the earth 6 different ways, make everybody depressed become happy, disharmonious become harmonious, sick become well, poor become wealthy, discontented become contented, warring parties become friends. That kind of events took place when the Buddha taught. That was that profound. That was that deep. Some kind of positive effect, ripple effect was so profound that even the likes of the king Ajatasattu, who killed his own father by committing patricide and regicide, he too later on surrendered and became a disciple of the Buddha. And even though he had much negative influence from likes of Devadatta, but King Ajatasattu means before his birth he's already enemy to his father, Makyeda in Tibetan, because he had this huge kind of unsettled dispute from past lives, and he had born intentionally to take revenge in this life. To whom? To his own father. He killed his father in jail just down the road. When you go to Vulture's Peak, there is a place where he killed his father in jail. And but that very son who is notorious to rival the Buddha and do all sorts of naughty things, later on completely surrendered and blessed him to become follower of the Dharma, and later on he became the first benefactor of the first Buddhist council that was headed by Mahakashyapa. And so therefore we can see how did Buddha bless this? Every single being, including the notorious king Ajatasattu, to become a great Dharma benefactor and a Dharma king. So therefore, when we go to holy places, you don't go to holy place without knowing what happened there that made the place holy. So that is the place where very unruly, violent, aggressive people were all tamed, and they become pacifists. They gave up violence and they became follower of the Buddha, and hence the whole landscape of India where Dharma has spread so many hundreds of years, was because Buddha gave uh, such a profound teaching in places like Rajgriha. So that's why when it refers to the perfect place, perfect time, perfect audience, perfect companion, and so on, and what happened in that place. So it is there, that dialogue. Most Buddhist sutras are dialogues. Dialogues are meaning conversations. Of course, conversation means dialogue means talking between two people. Q&A, you can call it these days Q&A. And they never said there was going to be Q&A and Vulture Speak, please come 3 p.m. It just nobody never going to be that profound at the Q&A. So anyway, it was the Q&A between Avalokiteshvara and Shariputra that was orchestrated by the blessings of Buddha's meditation that prompted the teaching to occur. So that introduced you how the conversation took place through the blessings of the Buddha's profound meditation, who was blessed, and how each of them were blessed to do the act of asking and responding and following. So that concludes the first part of this teaching. So we'll have a short 10-minute break. Thank you. We'll see you thereafter.
Dear friends, we will start soon. Dear translators, please start the recording. Tomorrow, Rinpoche La will also give oral transmission, the link for Heart Sutra. Dear Rinpoche La, we are ready to continue. Thank you so much.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you. So, continuing where we left, we have looked at the first 5 perfect factors, of which the last one is perfect extraordinary factor is the Dharma. And that Dharma has teaching has blessed teaching, spoken teaching, and endorsed teaching. So we have been discussing the blessed teaching. The teaching that occurred is the dialogue between Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara through the blessings of the Buddha entering into the profound meditation on emptiness, the nature of all phenomena. And then that prompted the Avalokiteshvara to have the realization of the nature of the 5 aggregates, and then Shariputra was prompted to rise up and ask the question, how should noble son or daughter who wishes to train should train in this practice. So the conversation between the two therefore became what we call the what prompted the blessing teaching to occur. Now the blessing of the teaching then continued in terms of then ascertaining the meaning of the perfection of wisdom. So that's the next topic. So after the Avalokiteshvara mentioned how that one should train in the meditating on the nature of the 5 aggregates, then to now elucidate the meaning of the intrinsic nature of the perfection of wisdom, this has 5 subtopics. First is the how to give rise to the 4 valid experiences. One. Second is how to attain the 8 profound realization. Third is how to gain liberation of the objective nature of samsara and nirvana. Fourth is the instruction how to practice the meaning of the perfection of wisdom. And the 5th one is the benefit of practicing the perfection of wisdom. So rest of the Heart Sutra is covered in these 5 subtopics. So here, first one, we will look at the first one of these 5 is the how to give rise to the 4-fold valid experiences. 4-fold valid experiences. So that is due to the power of the Buddha's meditation and the audience members blessed as a quiet participant, and Avalokiteshvara as giving the answer, and Shariputra as asking the question. It is said that all the teacher and audience, when they gain the realization of the meaning of the mother, the perfection of wisdom, then all phenomena within the range of samsara and nirvana will arise with the 4-fold experiences, 4-fold characteristic experiences, four characteristic with 4-fold experiences. So these are mentioned by form is emptiness, then emptiness of form form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. So this four-fold expression is very important throughout the rest of the Heart Sutra. When it says form is emptiness, it says when one is devoid of grasping to form as truly existent, then one would see the emptiness. Then the one sees the form is experienced as a vivid depiction of emptiness. So form is emptiness, meaning when you are devoid, or when you're free of the grasping to form as truly existent, then you will validly experience form is emptiness. And so then the second one is emptiness as form. When it says emptiness as form, meaning within the experience of emptiness, because emptiness is the object, yeah? Emptiness is now the object of realizing experiencing emptiness. Then the very emptiness self is manifesting as an object of the form. So the emptiness self is the form. So that's why to the one who has the experience of emptiness, one who has the valid experience of emptiness, the form itself is emptiness, and then emptiness self emptiness self is manifested as a form, because it's the manifestation of emptiness inside of the form. This is why people who practice Vajrayana deity yoga should know that the deities are form, and we should not therefore develop grasping to them and truly existing. So when you have no grasping to the appearance of the deity and is emptiness, then the form of the deity is emptiness. Otherwise there is a danger of people grasping to the deity's form and color and this as truly existing. So one therefore must remember that Heart Sutra is the text teaching, but when you know the wisdom of the text, then becomes as a wisdom being. Then you know the deity that you visualize or receive empowerment is not something we should develop grasping to as truly existent, but rather that will help us to let go the grasping as form as truly existing. That's why the form is emptiness. And nevertheless, the experience of emptiness manifesting as an object is form, as emptiness is form. So that's the first two valid experiences. But that appearance and emptiness, the duality of appearance and emptiness are mutually inclusive. They are not mutually exclusive. Therefore, form is no other than emptiness, because they are mutually inclusive. So that the non-duality of form, appearance, and emptiness. Non-duality appearance, emptiness. And also, beside the emptiness, there is no form. So emptiness no other than form. That's the fourth valid experience. Basically, these four valid experiences, by the first statement, form is emptiness, teaches the yoga of formlessness. Form that appears, but they do not exist as it appears. Yeah, like the mirage. Mirage appears, but appearance is devoid of existence. The appearance is formless appearance. There is no form that is real and permanent, unitary, and independently existing. So form is emptiness, shows the yoga of formlessness. And emptiness of form shows the yoga of aspectarian. Yoga or aspectarian means yoga showing the aspects of emptiness. Because emptiness self manifests form, like Chenrezig or Hevajra or Vajrayogini is yoga of aspects of emptiness, made it visible. So the deities are not monolithic deities. Deities are emptiness made to manifest as a wisdom. Wisdom of emptiness is made in the form of aspects. We call Nangjegi Nanjor. Nangjegi Nanjor means yoga of with form. Before form is emptiness, yoga of formlessness. That's the first two. Then the third one, that form is no other than emptiness, and emptiness no other than form, means they're showing the non-duality of form and emptiness of form. Now when you are able to genuinely develop experience that form is emptiness, if you realize form is emptiness, which means the form doesn't mean the form doesn't exist. Form exists but not independence. Form is empty of independent, unitary, inherently and independently existing. So form is not emptiness of form. Form is empty of unitary, permanent, independent, inherently existing form. This we must understand. And if you did that, then whatever you see, you do not see the thing as independently existing from its own side. You see form, but it's empty of independently existing form. You see form, but form is not permanently, inherently existing form. When you are able to see the emptiness, form is emptiness, therefore you do not grasp it as real and permanent, satisfactory, or vice versa. You do not think of it. You see them as empty. So if you have that valid experience of form being empty, emptiness being form, form being no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, then likewise you will do the same for valid experiences with likewise feeling of pleasant, joy, or sadness, or loneliness, or joy, or whatever you do. You should never become attached to the feeling as real. Feeling is emptiness doesn't mean feeling doesn't exist. Feeling exists but not independently, permanently, inherently, and independently. So therefore feeling comes from contact in Buddhism. We call, if you think I'm lonely, your thinking I'm lonely conditions the feeling of loneliness. The feeling itself is not truly existing. Feeling is independently existing by thinking I have nobody. Then you feel lonely. So feeling is emptiness, and therefore is emptiness of feeling. Yeah, it's devoid of feeling, and feeling is emptiness. Emptiness of feeling meaning, but emptiness self is being felt as truly existing thing. So therefore it says likewise feeling is emptiness, and then you should say emptiness feeling. Feeling is no other than emptiness, and emptiness no other than feeling. So each of the five aggregates you use these four try to develop validation of the four experiences. What does it mean when we feeling is emptiness? Is you will not be drowned in the feeling of being hurt or being overlooked or being abused by others. You don't see that when you understand emptiness of feeling. Feeling is emptiness, and feeling is mainly completely propped up by wrong views. As it is real, it is independent, it is unitarily existing, as it is inherently existing. We don't realize feeling is made out of dependent origination. We are not saying there is no dependent origination. Dependent origination, because whatever is dependent, that is empty of feeling. If feeling is dependent on something, the feeling itself is devoid of independent, devoid of permanent. And so when you are able to do that, people will not go in the past and suffer feeling of the tragedy or trauma. Why people are not feeling freedom from trauma is they think the feeling they had is real, independent, and created by him to me. This kind of wrong view makes the one to think the feeling is real, when feeling is actually impermanent, it is not independent, it is not unitarily existing. So therefore, likewise, you should meditate on that the feeling is emptiness, emptiness is feeling, feeling is no other than emptiness, emptiness is no other than feeling. Likewise, with the third aggregate, recognition or perception. Recognition is emptiness, emptiness is recognition is emptiness, emptiness is recognition. Recognition is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than recognition, emptiness. So likewise, you also say volition or action. Anything you did, he did, she did, he said, they said. We are always think what he said is independently, inherently, truly existing. No, he said what? Dependent on how you heard it. He could not say anything unless someone he speaks to. So therefore he's saying too, saying is not independently, inherently there. He has to have someone to speak to. Like if I don't have all of a couple of hundred people like here tonight, I couldn't be speaking to. So this feeling that you're hearing the teaching, recognizing that you're listening to the translation in Italian or French or Mandarin or Vietnamese tonight, is not because I'm speaking in Vietnamese. Am I? Well, I hope I did, but I don't. So don't think you're not thinking that I'm speaking in Vietnamese. Unfortunately not, because I don't have independently existing knowledge to produce the knowledge through teaching in Vietnamese, because I don't speak. So Vietnamese is emptiness in my language, but dependently existing in our translator's language, you see. So when you hear some kind of abuse from somebody and you feel fright, you shouldn't think the feeling of fear is emptiness. If I don't think he said to me, I would not be frightened, yeah? So it dependent on your thinking, it's not what he did. So therefore there is no feeling that is unitarily produced by him or this or that. It is multiple causes and conditions. Therefore there is no recognition that is not empty. Recognition is emptiness, emptiness is recognition. Recognition is no other than emptiness, emptiness no recognition, emptiness no other than recognition. So you can use that with form, feeling, recognition, and then volition. The volition is emptiness, emptiness is the volition, volition is no other than emptiness, emptiness is no other than volition. Volition means action. Say if someone did something, you think he did. His action is emptiness. His action is empty of independently able to do by himself. He couldn't clap his hand, for instance, unless he has two hands. Even he clap with two hands, but if you don't have hearing, you wouldn't, there is no clapping. Is the clapping touching of two hands? No, clapping needs a person who listens and hears it. Other than that, there is no clapping. If mere existence of two hands is clapping, there will be constant clapping with two hands. No. The person who has the hand decide to clap one hand to the other only on occasionally, but not always. So it is dependent on, conditioned by many other factors. Therefore, all volition, even if you failed something, even if somebody wronged you, you should never think that his action is totally true or real or permanent, independent, or no, his action is conditioned by many other things. All that are conditioned are impermanent and don't truly exist by itself. So therefore, volition is emptiness, emptiness is volition, volition is emptiness, emptiness is volition, volition is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than volition. Likewise, consciousness. You have consciousness, visual consciousness, this is auditory consciousness you are listening to tonight. This auditory consciousness that you are listening in French or in Mandarin or or say in Italian or Portuguese or whatever, Italian, whatever you're listening to, the conscious auditory hearing, auditory kind of a sound that you can hear in Italian is empty of sound. Why? It's empty for someone who is listening in Japanese, because Japanese people listening to Italian doesn't know what they see the emptiness of Italian, and they can see the trueness of Japanese, and then the Italian thinks there's trueness of Italian, and emptiness of Japanese. So the sound themselves is empty of independent, inherent, unitarily a truly existing thing. What does this mean is, when you are able to have this wisdom, when even if somebody says something, is it because he said or you thought what he said? So what he said is dependent on what you think I said. Maybe not what I really said, but what you dependently think. So therefore, the volition is empty, and so is the consciousness is empty. So that's why likewise feeling, perception, volition, consciousness, and are also empty of emptiness. They are emptiness, and they also have equally the four valid things. So in this way, you need to meditate on the emptiness of, say, form, means people, things, institution, your mother who's no longer there. The form of your mother is emptiness. Form of your mother is emptiness because she does not exist. She can't stand. She's no longer, the body is cremated, buried, or whatever. So you can see the emptiness of form. So therefore, instead of grasping to your mother an image of her truly existing, you should think the mother is, but not anymore. Because of that, there is no mother. Mother is empty, impermanent, not unitarily independent existing. Therefore, mother is emptiness. Form of mother is emptiness. Feeling that you have towards her, such as attachment, worry, concern, all those things also empty of inherently. One day you wouldn't know what to feel about your mother, because that was such a long time ago she passed away. So is it because of the passage of time that she is empty, or that her form is actually empty of inherent existence? Beside her name, you don't see your mother. You don't see the mother. You just have a bad, now ever decreasing nature of the memory of your mother. So the mother, form of mother is emptiness. Emptiness, form is emptiness. Emptiness is a form. Yeah. But emptiness itself is empty of form, but not empty of experiences. So in this way, the one more you are able to understand the four valid experiences in relation to each of these five aggregates, then you will also validate the nature of all five phenomena within the range of five aggregates, between matter and consciousness. Everything under the matter, between matter and consciousness, are all included in the five aggregates. How does one appear? This appears as a four valid experiences as a non-duality of appearance and emptiness. Is like when we say form is emptiness, we are saying that the moon in the water, even though appears in the water, moon appears in the water, but appearance of the moon's reflection in the water is not a proof of existence of moon in the water, but actually proof of non-existence of a moon in the water. Likewise, all form appears not because it is proof of existence, it's proof of lack of inherent existence of the form in the appearance. And so just like that moon's reflection, a ball of water in which moon's reflection is proof of devoid of the moon in existence in the ball of water. Why? Because moon could not possibly fit in that miserable cup. Even your lake, even Lake Geneva, even Lake Ontario, or Michigan, or here in Canberra, Lake Burley Griffin, is too small to fit the moon. Moon is said to be very big, but yet you think the moon is in your lake or in a cup of water. So the appearance of the moon in the water is a proof of not of existence, but proof of a lack of inherent existence. So likewise, you should, whatever you think of somebody or something is not proof of its existence. It's a proof of lack of inherent existence of appearance. It's just your projection only. So it's important to know that it's your thought about something is very different from what the thing itself is. Your thought of thing is in your head about the object, but in the object there's nothing like that form. So you should think like that, and then meditate, and then withdraw from the grasping to the perceptions, appearance, feelings as a truly existing, and then try to pause to allow a little space between the past thought and future thought, and you can see this luminous, clear awareness that witnesses the naked nature of emptiness of the form. So that's the first one. And when we say emptiness of form is like that. Like in the dream, you have dreamt that you were trampled on by a wild horse or kicked by a wild elephant. Even though during the dream it seems like you hit them, you punch them, or the elephant harm you, or you hurt the horse, all of that exists, but both the horse and the elephant are no proof of existence in the dream or in the room, that prove that they never existed in the first place. So this experience is that that your mental consciousness and sensorial consciousness are two different things. Both are valid proof that appearance do not exist as it appears, because appearance are merely labeled and grasped and develop craving and grasping by people. Therefore, to them it appears as the form and appearance exists. So these four valid experiences are the most quintessential teaching of the Heart Sutra, because then you will be able to realize the valid experiences of these four yogas. Yeah, yoga of formlessness, yoga of emptiness of the form, and yoga of non-duality of appearance and emptiness. When you do this, then the whole meaning of the deity yoga, you meditate. The deity itself is the form. But the form, in order that you do not get attached to the form as a true deity, but in order to see the true deity is emptiness of the form, appearance, deity, and therefore we visualize deities not as a monolithic entity that is permanent, eternal or something, but rather as you create, dissolve, so much so that you become so flexible in knowing that there is no form that is truly existing. Form is a proof of its emptiness, empty of independent, empty of permanent, empty of unitarily existing thing. When you remember that, then whatever happens or things occurs in your life, you do not get choked and fall apart because that happened. If you have grasping to it or grasping against it, you will suffer and languish in the sorrow as an ordinary people who have no dharma does. But one who has understood even the glimpse that form is emptiness, meaning appearance of the form, are actually proof of its emptiness that manifests as a form, not as itself as a true. Because if itself is there, it could not be emptied, because it is permanent, it is independent, it is truly existing. So that's why it's important that when you recite the Heart Sutra, Gate, Parasangate, Bodhi, you should remember some form, feeling, perception, volition, consciousness, memory of someone or something, what they did or didn't. All of this you should see them and delete their appearance and rawness of the color and memory that you have. You should see them as all empty of independent existence, but in a dualistically deluded sentient beings think they truly exist. So in this way you become validated through the four experiences that are in relation to each of the five aggregates, and later on you can also look at, say, when there's no sound, there's no form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch. What it really is saying, there is no sound. The sound is emptiness. Emptiness is sound. Sound is no other than emptiness. Emptiness is no other than sound. So you need to use these four valid experiences with every one of those things that are listed by looking at the meditation on the emptiness of the five aggregates to bring the four valid experiences. Now the second is the how to attain the eightfold profound realizations. How to attain eightfold profound realization. How to attain eightfold profound realization after you read that four valid experience in the Heart Sutra, then it goes to say that in the same way, all the five aggregates, all the five aggregates, just as all the five aggregates are empty, Shariputra, in the same way, all phenomena are merely empty. So they're out of the eight profound realization that all phenomena are merely empty. Number one, that's the first realization. That's the first profound realization. Second is they are without character. They are without characteristics. So when we say, "Oh Shariputra," that form is emptiness, just as you see the four valid experience of the emptiness of things, and all phenomena are emptiness. So that's the meaning of the profound perfection of wisdom. But if you were to look at the nature of the emptiness, you can either look at the emptiness of the form or look at the emptiness emptiness of the object as a form, as an object, and emptiness of clear and luminous nature of the mind as the subject. Then it says they are not in the same way they are merely empty. So they're merely empty, and not only are they are merely empty, they are also without characteristics. So what it does mean is that all of those phenomena do not have any independent characteristic. They have characteristic, but dependently originated characteristic. They don't have independent. Like the fire is characteristic of fire is hot, but not to the fire itself. So therefore, they are without character. Fire doesn't have independently existing characteristic that is hot. So what does fire have? Fire have characteristic that is dependent. That if I and you touch the hand on the fire, then we say, oh, fire is hot. So characteristic of fire is hot, not because of the fire, but because we touch it. But if we touch the wood on the fire, the wood doesn't say fire is hot. The wood has no feeling. So they are all phenomena do not have independently inherently existing characteristics. So that's what is the second profound meaning. Third profound meaning is they are not created. Created means they are. If you look at the intrinsic nature of the mind, it did not create from this to that or here remaining. So there's no independent creation. There's only dependently existing creation. Like this singing ball was never a singing ball. If it's singing ball, why is it not singing all this afternoon? All these hours sitting here is not singing at all. If it is singing ball, if it is singing, it should be producing the sound. So there is no singing ball that is inherently producing singing. It's only you have to hit a gong and so on. So therefore, all phenomena are not created by independently. Yeah, the phenomena are created dependently, Here we are saying there is no phenomena that is independently created, so they are not created. That's the third profound realization. So it's good to know things are not profound independently created. Like someone become prime minister, he doesn't become prime minister by himself. He has to be nominated, elected, asked by any people to sit and accept nomination and so on. So there is no inherently existing creation of anything, and they do not cease, meaning, but at the end they do not actually disappear independently. They do not experience independently. And in this way, it has neither the beginning of creation, nor in the middle abiding, nor the cessation in the end. So they are without character, they are not created, they do not cease, yeah? And so, because of that, the perfection of wisdom is very, very inconceivable, inexpressible. It is vast, unborn, uncreated, like the nature of the sky. It's the awareness of the intrinsic nature of things. This is the mother of all beings. So because of that, from the point of view of the conduct of profound emptiness, it does not have anything to characterize by, so therefore it doesn't have any characteristic. Because the emptiness has no emptiness that is without depending on any cause or condition, itself is primordially empty, and it primordially uncreated. Because it is primordially intrinsically not created, it will not cease. It will not cease. I mean, it does not disappear. Therefore, through the conduct of profound emptiness, even the stain of confusion does not actually exist. Therefore, they have no impurity that is inherently existing. They have no impurity. Yeah. So that's important to know that your anger, your guilt, do not really inherently exist. It appears as when we are conditioned by things, but it inherently does not exist. Even that impurity, but it may be a temporarily removal of impurity, but there is no inherent lack of impurity. Yeah, no inherent lack of impurity either. So in this way, through the conduct of the profound emptiness from its own intrinsic nature, the Buddha has neither need to increase qualities nor to reduce faults. So they are devoid of, they are therefore devoid of impurity, and they are devoid of increase and decrease, because they have transcended. So those are the 8 profound realizations, profound realization. Now the third is how to become liberated from the subject-object duality of samsara nirvana, as well as liberation from the 5 aggregates, liberation from the 5 sense organs, liberation from the 6 sense organs, 6 sense object, the 18 constituent, the 12 links of interdependent origination, 4 noble truths, the kayas, and wisdom. All of these 7 liberations. So there are seven liberation. What do you call 7 liberation? So therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form. So when it's talking about no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no composite factor, no consciousness. Yeah, it is. So when we talk about these 6 organs, the form, feeling, discrimination, composition factors, consciousness. These are the 5 aggregates. Yeah. So this is liberating from the 5 aggregates, and then when you liberate from the 5 aggregates, then you also liberate from the 6 sense organs. six sense organs is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. These six, when it says no eye, doesn't mean there is no eye. It means there is no eye that is independently existing. Yes, so if my eye is put on the table, people wouldn't say that's eye. They will frighten and run. But the eye in the face looks beautiful because it's dependent on the eye socket and the rest of the face. But eyes itself, it's there. People do not see as eyes independently acceptable thing. So the eye, no eye doesn't mean there's no eye. It means there's no eye that is independently eye. Eye is dependent on form and visual consciousness and so on. Likewise, no ear. So when you realize no ear, you do not complain when you don't hear anything, because there is no ear that independently hears itself. It needs sound. So that's why no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body. Somebody counted all the nose in Heart Sutra, 26 nose. So they thought that was a research paper because they realized 26 nose, almost like 25 nose to make it 25 verses on Heart Sutra. Anyway, so those are five aggregates. There's no five aggregates, so liberation from the five aggregates. Right now we are not liberated from the five aggregates. We are grasping to our form and feeling and volition and perception as me and mine, and we are never free from grasping to the five aggregates of me and mine. So, but if a person hears the teaching of Heart Sutra properly, they can meditate to detach themselves from the form, from the head to the toe, from the body hair to the head hair, to the skin, to the marrows and bones. Which form is you? By the time you eliminate bone to bone, skin to skin, flesh to flesh, nostril to nostril, tendon to tendon, where is the truly existing form that is jaw and jill? For instance, there is no form, and therefore no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. And likewise, just as there is no eye and ear and so on, there is also no form that eye can see. There's no form that independently exists without eye. There's no eye that independently sees without form. So they are mutually inclusive. Likewise, no sound. How could sound exist when the sound depends on the ear? If there is no independently existing ear, how could there be any dependently existing hearing? Because you have to hear, you have to depend on the existence of the ear and sound together. So therefore, no sound. It means if you realize the emptiness, even if somebody is praising you, you don't get puffed up. Even though somebody disparages you, you do not get discouraged, because you have realized no ear, no sound. So 5 aggregates, 5 sense organs, now 5 sense objects. No sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no phenomena. So next time you order your dinner and the dinner came the completely different flavor, you should just accept the taste, because there's no taste even in the correct taste that you order, or incorrect taste that you didn't order. These tastes do not truly exist except my attachment to the hot chili might think that, oh, it's a very tasty food. But others, if that is related to taste, there is a taste in the food, then why would others not enjoy as you did? Because they don't have any habit of taking chili. So they think you don't want even smallest bit of it, let alone the mouthful. So there is no truly existing taste, called sweet or bitter or hot or cold. They are just figment of our imagination. And likewise, no touch, means the body tactile. Tactility is totally dependent on not tactility to the body, tactility to the blanket, the cold weather, hot sun, near the fire, far away the fire. So there's no real touch that independently exists. There's only dependently existing touch. If you touch something hot, then the touch produces heat. If you devoid it, away from it, there's coldness. So therefore, no independent existing touch, and no phenomena. Now, and no phenomena. Phenomena is the domain of the mind itself. So when you have 6 sense organs, has 6 sense objects. So these 12 constituents, it says there's no I element, meaning no visual consciousness, and so forth, meaning no ear element, no nose element, no tongue element, no body element, and no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. So that paragraph lists all the 16 constituents, 16 dhatus. So that's the liberation from the 18 constituents. So out of the that's the first 4 liberations. The first 4 liberations. So it's first 4 liberation of the 7 liberations, which is to become liberated from the dualistic grasping of samsara and nirvana. So we have concluded up to there is no I element, and so forth, up to no mind element, and up to no element of mental consciousness. So this is a good place to stop. Everyone, thank you very much. Then we will continue the rest of the teaching on this tomorrow. We have out of the 7 liberations, we cover up to the first 4. So rest of the will be to be continued tomorrow. So rejoice everybody's patience and listening to this teaching and translating and listening into your sound that truly seems to exist when you have the ability to speak the language of the translator. Then you think there is sound, doesn't it? Otherwise, even if I'm speaking, there is sound, but there is no legible form of sound, isn't it? So you can see there is, even though somebody comes and looks like they are verbally abusing you, unless you know the language, you don't know what they're saying. That shows how sound is emptiness. Even if somebody says the same in your language and you get really hurt, and even though what he says is the sound, but sound, what he says, is empty of true existence, because unless you interpret this way, what he says got very little or no effect whatsoever. So they are mutually dependent. Whatever is mutually dependent, there is no inherently existing sound. That's what it means. So next time somebody says something nice, you shouldn't get too puffed up and too arrogant. And even if somebody passes a very difficult remark towards you or your teacher or your friend or something, you should hear them as there is no sound. The sound is emptiness. Emptiness is no other than sound. Sound is no other than emptiness. And thus meditate and gain yourself liberated from getting attached to someone using the swear words or harsh words. You do not hear them because you know it is totally dependent on your grasping or attachment to it or without it. So that shows that this kind of realization is very profound. It liberates you from each of these 5 aggregates, 6 sense organs, 6 sense objects, 18 constituents, and so on. So with this we will conclude here. Thank you very much, everyone. We will catch up tomorrow night. Until then, we will do the dedication merits. Ocean of Herenda Mahayana Jeje Whatever Mereda Hevajra Mehobe Begas de la Veza Choda Mahayana Jeje Kareja Manjujre sama daba de la follow it de example Aisha de ge de mere mede ezelen bode jeda tebe vere no yadanza where has been bomering freely with the generous. Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good night or good morning, whatever your time is. Thank you. I'll see you next tomorrow evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.